Hey, what's going on, guys? Avenger Vastey. So I finally got my Caliban wave. Just a lot of stuff in my life happened where I wasn't able to buy it as soon as I wanted to. I saw it so many times at retail and whatnot. Actually hooked up my boy Emmanuel, helped him find some of these characters. But anyways, I finally got the wave. I'm not gonna review them individually, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do an overview of the wave. So I don't really have, unless you guys really want to see me go into deep detail on a specific figure, I'll do that. But I'm just gonna do an overview of the wave. You got Gambit here, you got Forge. I just love how beautiful the packaging is now. I'm not a fan of, on Marvel Legends how they have the figures posed, because some of the people doing it don't know how to pose their figures, and it kind of bothers me. Got Beast, that was cool. Got Weapon X. Blink, I'm so excited for this figure, man. Jubilee, also excited for her. It's my first Jubilee figure. I think that's my, no, I have a old Toy Biz Jubilee from like the 90s. And then you got Skullbuster. So I'm gonna open this up and I'm gonna give you my opinion on the entire wave. Yo, this is mad random. I'm opening all the figures, but something weird I do. I've been doing this ever since I've been collecting figures since I started. So I smell the boxes. I know that's weird, but this Forge box smells like Toys R Us, man, and it brought me back memories. Like, I miss Toys R Us, man. It sucks that they're gone, man. I really wish they came back. All right, here's the wave all assembled, and let me just say something, man. I'm glad to be an X-Men fan, dude. Like, when I see representations of X-Men characters, and also the fact that Disney owns the X-Men again, well, they never did, but Marvel does. We're gonna get X-Men, and we're finally gonna see them portrayed in media properly, merchandise properly, and I'm just happy about that. And this wave is awesome, man. I love this wave, dude. Like, there isn't a single figure in this wave that I don't like. And, I'm glad that with the X-Men waves that we've gotten in the past 3 years, starting with the Juggernaut wave all the way to here, the Caliban. Juggernaut wave was awesome, man. I loved every single figure in that wave. Even though the Jean Grey wasn't the greatest, I'm so glad that we got a new Jean Grey. The Warlock wave, wasn't a big fan of that wave, man. Colossus was dope. Sunfire was cool. I don't have that Cyclops yet. Wolverine was alright. But that wave was kind of lackluster to me, man. Especially with, Dazzler and Shatterstar. I feel like he could have been on a different mold. With the Apocalypse wave, Apocalypse is one of my favorite villains of all time. I'm glad that we got him. But with the character designs and whatnot, with the Multiple Man, a lot of people did not like that Multiple Man figure. I like him. I like that version of Multiple Man. Even though he could have been green, but it's cool. Storm, I wasn't a big fan of that costume. I wasn't a big fan of that variant situation with Psylocke, just stuff like that. But with this Caliban wave, dude, this wave is awesome, man. Like I said, there isn't a single figure in this wave that I don't like. And I'm going to, do a little overview on each figure. So this might be a lengthy video. Grab a beer, grab some soda, grab some chips. Let's get started. First, starting off with Skullbuster. He's pretty cool, man. I like him. It's interesting. Not gonna lie, I haven't heard of this guy before this wave came out. And I'm a huge X-Men fan and whatnot. I know who the Reavers are. It's just I wasn't familiar with the character. In the comics, he had more of a red face for the skull. But either way, man, it's a really cool figure. They just did some really cool, interesting parts for this figure. I like all the leg details and the arm details for like the metallic parts. Even though this is a Deathlock body, and I felt like they could have used the paint application that they used for the Deathlock figure when it came to the metal parts, because this feels kind of flat. But this is a really nice figure, man. Just a lot of cool parts and whatnot. Just done very nicely. I forgot to mention he comes with the interchangeable head sculpt. From my understanding, this is Reese, if I'm not mistaken. And this was a nice touch. You can actually remove this piece, which I think is pretty cool. It comes with a scar. And from my understanding, I don't think that this head sculpt works for this figure, because I think he has a whole different body and whatnot. If you don't know, the Reavers have like cybernetic enhancements and implants. So people have been using Nuke, which is a pretty good choice, but I don't know the exact body that would work the best for this figure. Next, we're going to look at Jubilee. This is my first Jubilee Marvel Legends complete. The Jubilee wave from Toys R Us that they had, that was
terribly distributed. I wasn't even able to find that wave in public, man. That wave was just so hard to find. I think I only found Strife, but I think it was at a comic book store in a different state actually. Yeah. So that wave was super hard to build. But I'm glad that we got a new version of Jubilee. It was just done very nicely, man. Just really good sculpt, very vibrant. Jubilee's a very vibrant, character when it comes to her clothing, especially with the '90s look. The sunglasses are dope. This bubblegum effect is done really nicely. They gave us two pairs of sunglasses, and then the stock head has its own sunglasses attached. And then you can remove this one. So really good stuff, man. And they added a waist swivel finally, man. Like seriously, this is one piece of articulation that I want on at least every single female Marvel Legend. Like if you don't want to give us the diaphragm joint, all right, I can live with that. But just waist swivel, because when it comes to like the diaphragm joint, just their breast moving. I mean, the piece of articulation of the breast, it just looks kind of weird. I just rather have it at the waist instead, and I'm glad that they finally did that with this figure. You know what, man? People are giving this Forge figure a hard time, man. It bothers me. I think he's actually pretty cool. Last time we got a Forge figure was like in 2006, 2007 with this figure, with that terrible Wolverine figure that it came with. I got this at a comic book store in like 2008 or 2009. He was cool for his time. He was actually really cool. I've had this figure in my collection for a very long time. Forge is a cool character to me. He has robotic limbs because he lost it in the war, and he replaced it with robotic parts. And it would have been cool if this figure kind of got the same effect. He only has one robotic limb. It would have been cool if he came with a hand like this guy does, or interchangeable parts. But this figure is actually cool. Both these figures are cool, actually. I'm glad that we finally got a new one. It comes with a ponytail, which I didn't know until like a couple weeks ago. I didn't even know he had a ponytail. And his gun is cool. I like that we got new guns, finally, that aren't like childlike. It comes with a little pistol. It comes with a holster. So he's pretty cool, man. I like it. It comes with the standard X-Men suit. It does have the, I don't know what you would call these, little boots on the bottom. These do move, and it does bother me. I kind of have it stuck right now. But still a cool figure, man. He's actually done very nicely. Beast is really nice, man. I really like this figure. At first, I was like, whatever, do it, because this is actually not my favorite version of Beast. My favorite version of Beast is him when he has clothes on. I associate Beast with, because the whole idea of him is he experimented on himself and he turned into a beast, quote unquote, but he was still a genius. So I still imagine him, wearing clothes and whatnot. But anyways, he's better than the Toy Biz version. The Toy Biz version is done still very nicely. I still like this figure a lot, but he does fall short when it comes to the Hasbro version. He has no form of ab articulation at all. He does have a waist swivel, which is nice, and this guy doesn't have that at all. He has a castle, which he doesn't have, and he does have the jaw articulation, which is nice as well. But this guy is done a lot better, in my opinion. He has a butterfly joint, ab articulation, double ab articulation, actually. But still, great figure. The only problem I do have with this figure is the fact that his eyes are whited out and he has no pupils. That's really bothersome to me. It would have been nice if he had an interchangeable head sculpt that was calm. Like I said, he's a scientist, so he's calm at times. So it would have been cool if we got an interchangeable head sculpt with him. But I understand the cost, because it does look like this is a hunk of plastic, a nice hunk of plastic. It could have almost been a Build-A-Figure. Like, this guy is huge, and he's, I could understand how they would cut costs, but it is what it is. I see it. We might get a new version of Beast, maybe Beast with clothes on, I hope. And comparing it to my favorite version of Beast from Toy Biz is the X-Men Classics Stealth Beast. I think this is. I actually broke this guy at the arm. That's Wax holding it up. But this guy's really nice. It has a Cat Beast head, and I still think this guy holds up to this day. I have this guy with my Avengers. So it would be cool to see a Beast like this done in Marvel Legends, similar to this, with maybe on the same mold, just with clothes on. But, this guy is done really nicely. He does come with interchangeable hands, which I think is great. I was actually able to get him on a handstand, which I love. So, just a great figure overall, man. Next, we have Weapon X. This is a pretty cool figure, man. Not gonna lie, a lot of people gave this guy a hard time as well. But I think he came out really cool with all the Weapon X gear. All the stuff that Bond added Mantium with him is really nice. It's the Wolverine mold, so he has a butterfly joint. He's just missing the calf articulation, which is cool. But what I will say is I wish they gave him, dirt and grime, like on the hands and the feet, or like on the chest or something like that, just to show that, you know, he's like going through stuff. I mean, when he was in the tube to have that adamantium put to him, I mean, he was pretty clean. And then when he came out, which is what this head sculpt is for, this is when he comes out and he's like in the woods and he's killing all the Weapon X guards. I forgot what they're called. I think Department H. I'm probably had that wrong. But he was killing all of them. I know they can't do blood, but if they did something like giving them dirt on him, would have been cool. This is a pretty cool head sculpt as well. People are giving it a hard time because, you know, the face. I think what really messes this figure up are the eyes. Like, they're really small, and I think if they were like a little bigger, it would have helped. But it's still a pretty cool figure. He has the blue shading, which I think is a nice touch. Really cool. So like what I was saying about the dirt, I mean, if they did it on the Toy Biz version, I'm going to compare most of these figures to their Toy Biz counterparts. So he has the dirt on the hands. Doesn't have dirt on the feet, but he does have dirt on the hands, which I think is a cool touch. He has the veins, which I see it as, you know, the adamantium is being pumped into his body, so he had veins and whatnot. And kind of like how they have on here with the smirk or the snarl. I think that would have been a nice touch on this head sculpt. Or I've seen some people like switch these faces out, which is alright to me, but I think either like what the Toy Biz version had with the smirk or something like that would have been a nice touch for this figure. Next we have Blink. This is our first Marvel Legends Blink. I think she came out great, man. I really, really like this figure. It's a beautiful head sculpt, first of all, and I like all the painted pieces. I'm pretty sure these are part of her body. She has the elf ears, piece on her neck, like just really cool parts. They gave her the daggers for her teleportation, which I think came out really nice. They're all new parts, which I always love. Like when they give characters new accessories, and then she comes with this teleporting piece, which is dope. Wouldn't be cool if it was translucent, but I do like the vibrant pink they gave it. It's really nice stuff. And just as a reference, I have Toy Biz X-Men toy. I don't know where it's from exactly. I think it's from Age of Apocalypse. But just to compare it, there was a version of Blink where I think she had a ponytail or some kind of hair similar to this, but this is a really cool figure. It would be cool if we got Exiles from Marvel Legends. Maybe we will. Who knows? They are trying to complete a lot of teams when it comes to the X-Men. I mean, they're doing X-Force, they're doing Reavers. So it'd been cool if we got that. I'm just trying to pull out this figure as a reference. So another version of Blink was when she was in the Age of Apocalypse universe, and Sabretooth was by her side, but as you can see, this Sabretooth is kind of messed up. I made it a custom years ago, but it didn't work out, so I kind of got rid of it, and now it's a mess. But if we got a new AOA Sabretooth, that'd be cool as well. Last figure we're going to look at is Gambit. I think this figure came out pretty cool. People are giving him a really hard time because of the arms. I think it's really cool. It's fine either way. So what we have with the figure is nice. They gave us accessories. They gave us likeness to the character. Just really, really good stuff here. I like the 5 o'clock shadow they have. The hair is really nice. That's really, really cool stuff here. And I like how they added the sculpting to the legs. I like when they do sculpted parts. It's the same jacket from Multiple Man, same arms from Multiple Man, and I think Punisher. And this is where people have been having the problem. I don't think the range of motion is too bad. I mean, you can get him in a pretty decent pose. So I think that came out pretty cool. With the accessories, I mean, he comes with the card, which I think is nice. And holding it in his hand. It comes with this effect, which is similar to the Marvel Select effect. I can't tell who did it better, Marvel Legends or Marvel Select. Get the hand in there. It's actually not articulated, which I found pretty interesting. So you got that, which is awesome. That's really cool. And then he comes with the staff. It's a little bent, so I don't know if I want to use this one. I might use a Marvel Select one or something from a different line, like Dick Grayson or one of those Robin figures. But I mean, for what we have with this figure, he came out really cool. And here is the Caliban Build-A-Figure. This guy is pretty cool, man. Caliban has been one of those characters where I'm just like, you know what, he exists. I know about him, but I don't really care about him. This figure made me care about him. He's really cool. He can track mutants down. So I think they nailed it. I like the body mold that they use. I like the costume. These feet are really interesting to me. It's really random, but I just like how they came out. It looks kind of translucent. The hands are dope. This head sculpt is really, really nice. It looks terrifying. And it's just a big Build-A-Figure. I mean, it's been a while since we got a big Build-A-Figure. And I'm glad that they gave us that with, you know, Thanos, Venom, Caliban. So maybe if they did the same size with Apocalypse, that would have been dope. But I'm just glad that we've been getting, you know, bigger Build-A-Figures. So that's what I want. That's what I'm paying for. So I like how he came out. It's really, really nice. So when it comes to ranking these figures down, it was pretty hard. Not gonna lie, all these guys are great. There's not a single figure in this wave that I think is terrible. I think this is a solid wave overall. And one of the better Marvel Legends waves. What I mean by that is they're not all peg warmers. I mean, we've been getting a lot of movie figures and a lot of Avengers waves, and it's nice to see something different. So ranking these guys down, like I said, there's no bad figure, but starting off with Wolverine, you know, I like him a lot. He's one of the better versions of Wolverines that we've gotten over in the years. But as far as displaying potential, there's only one display I'm going to do with him, and that's him escaping the Weapon X facility. Next, we have Forge. I think he came out great as well, but more accessories and maybe a different body mold and maybe a different face expression would have been nice. Next, we have Jubilee. I think she came out great. I love all the accessories with her. It would have been cool if we got some fireworks effects, but still, either way, great figure. Next, we have Skullbuster. He came out awesome. Just not very familiar with the character, and I see him, you know, as a thug. Maybe I'll put him with Daredevil, have him fight Daredevil, but I know he's obviously a Reaver, but he's a pretty cool figure. Next, we have Gambit. I think he came out great, man. There's a lot of potential for this guy. All the accessories are great. We finally got a new version of Gambit, so I'm glad that we have this. Third, we have the Caliban Build-A-Figure. He is great. You're basically getting this guy for free, and for what we got, it's great. Just a great figure overall. I like the size. The fact that we are probably going to get bigger Build-A-Figures is always nice. Maybe a Fing Fang Foom, maybe a Living Tribunal. Who knows? But just a great figure overall. Second, we have Blink. Just great that we have this guy. Finally, it's just, you know, I like seeing obscure characters. So the first time I saw Blink was actually in X-Men Legends 2, and I thought she was always cool. She was kind of like Nightcrawler's counterpart, so I always saw her like that, but I'm glad that we finally have her in Marvel Legends. And first we have Beast. This guy surprised the hell out of me, man. I'm really glad that we finally have a new version of Beast. Like I said, not my favorite version of him. I like Beast with clothes on, but he's great, man. I really like the articulation, the sculpt. He has really good paint apps. You know, just the head sculpt when it comes to the pupils, and maybe if he came with a different head sculpt, this would have been a 10 for me. But either way, great figure. And a great wave overall, man. Like I said, I give this wave a 9. So, yeah. All right, guys. If you want to pick it up, there's a lot of places you can get it. Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, Walmart has it, I think. Target, Best Buy has it, believe it or not. So there's a lot of places to get it. And it's not expensive. I mean, Jubilee and Beast have gone up in price, but nothing crazy. So, yeah, definitely get on the hunt. Get these guys. They're really great. And, yeah. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you later. Peace.